The African National Congress now, it has released its conference resolutions and outlined its position towards energy, social welfare and the rule of law. Our reporter Govan Whittles joins us live for more as he was attending that briefing and for a debrief of sorts. A very good afternoon to you, Govan. So maybe let's start with the issue of the cabinet reshuffle. We understand that the president is not feeling so well and that issue may be pushed back, or indeed we can expect to hear anything in the next couple of days, as Vincent Makwenya pointed out?
Well, interestingly, the Secretary-General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, saying that the president may have caught the flu during the state visit by the Ugandan president, that the ANC is not certain if that's the reason why they're delaying the cabinet reshuffle. Fikile Mbalula confirming this afternoon that the ANC has not yet met with the president to discuss the changes to the executive, but saying that they're also anticipating it would happen. And the phrase that Fikile Mbalula used was "hopefully soon." In this very room just a few weeks ago, Fikile Mbalula said that there would definitely be a cabinet reshuffle by the end of February. They're not saying much about the reasons for the delays. They say the resignation of the deputy president does lend a sense of urgency to the expectation. Here's the interesting bit. Mbalula not saying what the ANC expects the president to do, but hinting that there won't be a reconfiguration of government. They expect quote-unquote patchwork to be done by the president in the filling of vacancies, that he's noted grumblings from within the ANC of members of the NEC who are disappointed that the president isn't appointing them. He's told them to look towards 2024. This is probably the clearest indication that what we'll likely see during the cabinet reshuffle is the filling of vacancies and not major changes to be conducted by the president ahead of the national elections. That seems to be where the ANC's attention is squarely focused at this point. But all of these comments come without any certainty as to when that announcement by the president will be made regarding a cabinet reshuffle. But of course there were a number of other issues dealt with here. The 15 million rand donated to the ANC by United Manganese, partially owned by Chancellor House, the ANC's investment company, as well as a Russian billionaire, as well as another controversial issue, which was the ANC's challenge to Andre de Ruyter to produce evidence of his claims within 7 days.
Let's expand on that, because it would appear that almost every week we are hearing from the Secretary-General of the ANC in the form of hosting media briefings and giving updates. What did they say on that?
He's been candid with his views, revealing the ANC has served legal papers on de Ruyter. That was done this week, and they're giving him another 7 days to respond to these papers, demanding that he produces evidence of the claims that he made that the ANC is benefiting from corruption at Eskom, or they'll take the matter to court. They want to pursue it within the courts of law. Of course, they would force the former Eskom CEO to retract his statements if he isn't able to produce the evidence, but they may also force the issue of Eskom corruption out into the open. Fikile Mbalula also using another interesting phrase, saying that they don't care who the person is within the ANC who may be implicated in Eskom corruption, and that person should account for their sins. Interestingly, with regards to the funding of the ANC by United Manganese, based in the Kalahari, Fikile Mbalula says that they have Chancellor House as an investment arm, and people should note that running a political party isn't cheap, and that the ANC is willing to accept money from anyone with no strings attached within the realm of the law, as long as it's legally permissible, that they make no apologies for their relationship with Russia, that they remain neutral in the conflict in the Ukraine, but at the same time will not be scaling back their relationship with Russia at all. This, of course, very important because South Africa is the chairperson of BRICS at the moment, preparing to host the BRICS summit in August, and will be meeting with different political parties from the BRICS governments ahead of that meeting where they're due to discuss the possible expansion of BRICS. These are the sideline issues, really. The fact that the ANC is serving papers on Andre de Ruyter and wanting to take that matter to court is probably going to dominate the commentary around this briefing, and also adds more speculation to who might be moved in a cabinet reshuffle, considering the allegation that was in the Daily Maverick and a number of Sunday newspapers that the territorial leader, so to speak, has political protection for the cartels from within the cabinet. That allegation already being denied by the president.
And of course, as we speak, Govan Whittles, you've got the South African Police Services, the JMPD, private security personnel at Wits University as students clashed with the security that was hired by the institution. Did the ANC touch on the issue and the plight of learners at higher institutions around the country, really?
Fikile Mbalula, yes, directly responding to that. The one position the ANC is taking is that they don't believe financial exclusion should be happening in South Africa since they've pledged 7 billion rand to NSFAS through the government. But at the same time, the ANC is saying that they can't excuse failure at university, or you couldn't use politics to excuse failure at university level. Really a double-edged sword in that comment, because on one hand supporting the students, but on the other hand being careful not to endorse the use of marches to excuse the failure of the subjects at the universities. The ANC believes that what's happening at WITS is not only an ANC Youth League issue, an issue for the youth, but a societal issue. But it's clear that they do believe that NSFAS should be able to bridge the gap where students are being excluded for financial reasons, and that shouldn't be happening in the country. Of course, many of these students at WITS wouldn't be eligible for NSFAS, being part of the missing middle, and the ANC yet to put out a comprehensive document on how to deal with the issue of people who don't qualify for NSFAS yet can't afford tuition fees at university.
Thank you very much. We'll touch base with you a little bit later on.